Hey guys and gals, I have to speak to you today about a video that was made yesterday, and I've had a very long day, and you can see my hair looks like crazy, and I apologize. Um, but I have to talk about a video that was made yesterday by Chris Wyatt, and although I agreed with at least half of what he said concerning a family of 9 who supposedly are going back to South Africa, I agree with certain points about if this was true that he was saying. I do. Wasting my government's resources, uh, etc., um, not making a go of it. Uh, but I have to tell you that I knew as I listened to this tirade that this wasn't the real story. I knew it in my gut, and so I investigated today and I spoke directly with the mother, the person who seems to have taken all the direction and taken everything on to herself. And now I understand the story a lot better. I really do. And it's not what you think. This woman does not want to go back to South Africa. And what happened was she accepted help from the Soweto ladies and did get some assistance from them. And at one point, they were told to go to a braai 2 hours away on a beach or something. And uh, she got a job interview, came up that same day that they were going to leave. And this was I believe, one of the Soweto volunteers who were having this braai. And this is a family of 9 in a 4-bedroom apartment in Florida. And this job interview came up, and she felt she had to go. And her husband works, and she felt she had to get a job. It was arranged by the agency, uh, this job. And so she had to go, and she did get the job. Now, apparently, she called off going to this braai, and the reaction to it was very harsh, very harsh. And the reason why this story of them going back to South Africa got out is because she's been trying every option to make it a better situation. First of all, they were put in a 4-bedroom apartment immediately that cost $3,000 a month, and it's not close to the bus. The bus to take them to the place where the employment is, it's a 2-hour ride to this other city to get to employment, where the employment is, basically. And it's isolated. And so they were put right into this apartment. And it just is not a practical place to be. It's hard to get around. They got a car. They were able to get a car, and there are lots of things wrong with it. And of course, when you get a car, you also have to add on that big expense of registering the car and getting insurance. So this is a lady with a family of older adults who have challenges and 4 children. And she went to this job, and it was your very basic cleaning job. And I've got to hand it to her. She did the job for a week. Then she got sick. And then on Easter weekend, the bus didn't run. She couldn't get to work. And the job says they're open to taking her back. She's a very good worker. And she showed the right attitude by just getting out there and working, which is very good. But this whole story was blown up because certain person who heads the Soweto ladies group, who I have spoken to before, uh, ran off to Chris Wyatt like a little tattletale about a conversation they had had on the phone when this lady in the family of nine was is now at a rope's end, uh, trying to get along, because they got the flex funding. They did not get the whole funding for nine people. They got the flex funding. So much was poured into the rental, of course, thousands and thousands, and now they are told they're done supporting them. And it turns out part of April's rent wasn't paid either by the refugee resettlement agency, and they don't know how they're going to pay May's rent. So Colonel Chris says he's a journalist, and yet he did not check this lady's story. Yes, she was on the phone with this lady from Soweto. Yes, she was asking the agency to move their family closer to work many times, and they said no, trying to solve this problem, and nothing was working. She asked this lady if they could possibly help them get to a different place, and she said no. And especially after they didn't show up for the braai, uh, everyone seemed to be mad at this lady for not showing up. That's the story. And if someone would have done their due diligence and spoken to this lady and checked the context around this story, it was a woman on the phone with Antoinette saying, "Here are my speaking out loud. Here are my options. I've got this situation that just is not working. We're too far away from everything. It's very expensive. Uh, the agency is not getting further funding for us to help us out, and they didn't spend the proper funding in the first place. They're holding back." And she's saying, "What are my options? Either moving somewhere closer to work, maybe not as expensive, or going to another state, or maybe we should go back to South Africa." But it wasn't said in earnest. They do not want to go back to South Africa. They're here for good. They did not defraud anybody. But the hellhounds all leapt on this story and made a person very upset. And because it was taken out of context, and they don't want to go back, and they do not defraud anyone. And I feel this is very dangerous language, very irresponsible, and without it being the truth, you're using a lie to make everyone look bad. Uh, every South African, possibly every refugee. Uh, but they throw their hands up and they say, "Oh, this isn't working. What can I do?" Well, there are a lot of people put in situations where they're throwing up their hands and saying, "What can I do?" Now, I recently tried to do a fundraiser to get a house. It was a 4-bedroom house. Actually, it could have been a 5-bedroom house. This family could have packed up and gotten into this house for $2,400 a month. And work is very close, work all over. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying the challenges presented by where you are placed and with whom you're placed and how they help you. And this was Hebrew Gulf Coast, and they were their first placement. And they did not help them with the Medicaid. Uh, they've been somewhat helpful, but there are holes. They were supposed to show up to bring them to medical. They didn't. Uh, they're not giving them any bus passes or giving them information about the bus or the food banks or anything. It just makes it so much harder. So they're in a beautiful place, a nice place, but it's It's not practical. And this woman's responsible for a lot, including 4 kids. And it just was getting to her. And she had said this in a conversation, and she didn't mean it. That's the last thing she wants to do. And she's not defrauding my government. I trust that my government is vetting you absolutely properly. And the suggestion of this is just outrageous. And folks should really do their homework before they go off like an alarm. All right, I'll talk to you soon.